Hello, my Phase 5 Phonics friends. We are looking at a new sound this week. We're looking at the sound and we're going to be focusing on reading. So let's get going. Let's start as we normally do then with the review part of our lesson. Get your fingers ready. You have got 10 seconds to find the first sound. And the sound you are looking for first is the ear sound. Ear sound. 10 seconds, have a go. Did you find them? There they are. We had clear and spear. Ready for the next one? This time you are looking for the air sound. The air sound. 10 seconds, off you go. Did you find them? Shall we have a look? There they are. We've got stare and flare. Now, interesting to note that this word here, stare, is not the type of stare when you're looking at somebody. This use of the word stare is like the stairs that you climb up to get upstairs. So it's often part of the word upstairs or downstairs or staircase, not often found by itself. But there you go, there's the word stare, and we also had the word flare. Okay, next one. This is our last one, and you are looking for the ow sound. The ow sound. 10 seconds, off you go. Did you find them? There they are. We had clown and brown, both with this OW spelling of the ow sound. Let's move on then and talk about today's sound. So today we are looking at these three spellings here, and they make the sound. You will have met the ER and the IR spelling before, and we're introducing a new spelling, the UR. Now, quickly, before we move on and get into our reading for today, we need to talk about these sounds because although often these are making the sound, and specifically here with our ER, although this is often making the sound, sometimes it makes a slightly different sound. And this different sound has actually got its own name. The name of this sound is the schwa sound. It's quite an unusual name. And it's the name for the sound that sounds like this. Uh, uh. It's almost like a cross between an and a sound. And it's formed by opening your mouth and just letting out a bit of air. And this is a sound which we hear all over the place in English. Often where we've got different spellings, letters that normally make vowel sounds, we hear this soft sound instead. And the ER, even though sometimes it makes a very clear sound, sometimes will also make this schwa and make the sound. Now, don't worry about that too much. I will point out to you later on where that sound is being made, and we'll talk about it a bit more. It's just enough for now to know that this ER sometimes makes a slightly different sound. Let's talk about reading then. Now, we go over this every week to make sure it's in your brain. When we're reading, we first need to say each of the sounds, and then we blend them all together to say the overall word. So imagine that you've met this word for the first time. We need to sound out each of the sounds. So listen to me do that. F, e, k, t. You might want to say them a bit faster. P, f, e, k, t. And then blend them together. Perfect. And so we've got the word perfect. This is a really good strategy for whenever you come across a word that you're not quite sure what it is, you don't recognize it straight away, and it will often help you to get a good idea of what the word is or to sound out the whole word. Let's have a look at some of the words that you're looking at today. So here we are, just like usual. You've got your lists of words that are using each of the sounds. You can go across if you want a bit more of a challenge, or you can go down. Give yourself some time to do that. Click pause and then click play when you've had a go. Fantastic. Hopefully you've had a go at reading some of those words. Before we move on, I want to come back to this idea of a schwa sound. Now, I want to be very clear that the name of the sound is schwa, but actually we're talking about this sound So let's have a look at some of these words. Let's take, for example, faster. Have a listen to that sound. When you say it, faster, you don't really hear faster. It's not a really clear sound on the end. It's more of an sound. That schwa sound we've been talking about. Faster, smoother, teacher, helicopter. Normally, we don't say the sound really strongly. It's not wrong to say it. We could say smoother, teacher, helicopter. But normally when we're talking, we just say smoother, teacher, helicopter. It's just a shorter sound. So just be aware that when you read a word with an ER, sometimes it might be making more of an sound rather than an sound. Let's talk about our red words then before we move on and read some sentences. We've got this word up here, ever. Now, this word is in there because it's a really common word, and again, it's got that schwa sound at the end. Listen to it. Ever, ever. Normally, we wouldn't say ever. We would just say ever. It's a short sound on the end, ever. And then we've got two words which don't have any of the spellings that we've looked at today. So you might be wondering, well, why, Mr. Cook, are these in our phonics lesson today? Well, they're in there because they've got that very same sound. Listen to them. Come, love. The second sound, k, and l, is that same schwa sound, that sound. So they're in there because we don't say them as a strong sound. We don't say com or love. We say come and love. And that's that same sound as ever. Okay, so these are something that we don't normally have to think about. When we're talking, we don't normally worry about whether we're saying it more as an or more as an But when we're reading, sometimes it can just be helpful to know that this sound, this schwa sound, is in the words that we're reading. Let's have a go, though, at reading some sentences. So here's your first sentence. Have a go at reading it. Look out for the sound and the sound. Click pause and then click play when you're ready to go through this together. Are you ready then? Let's read it together. Will I ever be a helicopter pilot? I want to whiz through the air like a bird. So let's have a look for those sounds and that sound. Will I ever, that was that word we looked at, ever, at the end there with an ER spelling. We've got helicopter at the end there, another ER spelling. Will I ever be a helicopter pilot? Notice a question mark on the end because that's a question. I want to whiz through the air like a bird. Our last word has got an sound in it, and it's spelt with that IR. Notice how it's a really clear sound. B, d, bird. Fantastic. Let's move on then and have a look at the next one. So click pause, have a go at reading this, and then click play when you want to read through it together. Here we go then, let's read this together. He moved the purple curtain to cover the window as the thunder rolled across the sky outside. So altogether that's, he moved the purple curtain to cover the window as the thunder rolled across the sky outside. Let's have a look for these sounds and these sounds then. So the first one we've got is in curtain. And notice that's a really clear sound spelled with that U-R spelling. Next up, we've got cover. Notice that's the shorter schwa sound at the end of cover. And it's spelled with the E-R. The window as the thunder, again, that schwa sound at at the end of thunder, rolled across the sky outside. No more in there. Oh, you know what? I've just spotted one that we missed. I wonder if you got it. I've only just seen it. Purple. How could we forget purple with that UR in there, making the in purple? Let's talk about some of the other sounds because there's some great sounds in here that we've been learning recently. We looked at recently the oo sound in moved, and it's unusual, isn't it? Because we've got that O in there making the oo sound, moved. We've also got the I sound going on here. We've got the I in sky at the end there with a Y, and we've also got that split digraph IE making the I sound in outside. So some interesting sounds that we've looked at recently in that sentence. Okay, are you ready for the last one? You've done a fantastic job listening so far and having a go at all of these activities. Let's have a look at our last couple of sentences. So have a go at reading this, click pause and then click play when you want to check through together. Let's have a read through them. The dancers will be performing at the church on Saturday. We're going to watch them swirl and twirl. Altogether, that's the dancers will be performing at the church on Saturday. We're going to watch them swirl and twirl. Well, the first thing we can see is up here, we've got another ER in there, and that's making that shorter schwa sound, dancers. You could say dancers, but that's not normally how we would hear it. Dancers will be performing. There we go again, that ER, performing. That's how the start of that word sounds. At the church, notice that's a really clear sound in church we've got with a UR. Church. Saturday. There it is, another one in the middle of Saturday. Then we've got we're going to watch them swirl. Another clear sound, this time with the IR in swirl. And again in twirl with the IR. Well done today. We've got to the end of another lesson. We'll leave it there. Well done on another phonics lesson. You've done a brilliant job. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you again on Friday, where we'll be keeping going with the sound and looking at writing. See you then.